Yo, 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 party people. It is, what day is it? It is Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. I apologize, I'm a few days late recording this podcast on a Tuesday as opposed to the weekend, but very important that I get one out every week, so we're here regardless. Um, this is the last week in LA for me. The family is gone. Jojo, Emmy, their parents, Lucas and Sue are up in Portland. They're settled in the new house. I am still here in LA in our old house. I have a booger in my nose. It is it's so hard to pick boogers from your nose in the camera because it's like reflected the wrong way. Anyway, I just woke up about an hour ago, about 8 a.m. Yeah, it's been cool and sad to have them gone, but it's been nice to be here and have some time alone to reflect on my time here in LA and in this house. Very sad going into like the empty main house where the girls' room is empty, and yeah, I miss those screams. I miss the sound of screams. The words of them screams. I miss the sound of their voices, man, and I am looking forward to seeing them and be with them. But it feels weird because it also feels like this might be the end of our time together. I'm certainly going to go up to Portland and live in their basement now and get them settled in school. But it feels very much like a month-to-month proposition. So we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna grind out this last week here in LA. Stick to my normal training regimen for jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. My final week at that gym at Legacy. And then on Monday, July 14th, fly to Maine for a week. Fly back to LA on the following Monday, July 21st. And then pack shit up and drive up to Portland, be up to Portland, certainly by August 1st, but really by the end of that last week in July. So yeah, it remains to be seen. There's a good chance I'll be back, but in this neighborhood that we live in Highland Park, no. So it's been very sad to say goodbye to the neighbors. I love our little street and neighborhood here. It's been nice. People in LA are not like this neighborly people like they are in the South, but I've always been for the past 5 years here pretty neighborly and saying hi to everyone and getting to know everyone. And so it's been good to give them hugs and say goodbye. As I've taken these last few walks around the neighborhood. And man, I have this old Latina abuelita that lives right next door to us. And unfortunately, her husband just passed away. And I always got along so well with him. He didn't speak much English, but he's always so friendly. And man, for 5 years, he seems like he's been on his way out. Barely making it up the driveway for 5 years. I always wanted to help the guy bring his groceries in, but he never wanted any help. He would just move like at a tortoise pace from his car up to the house. And I did my best to check on them and stuff, but I don't know, man. The wife, the abuelita, who is now still with us, man, she was so erratic with her relationship with me. Sometimes she was super friendly and nice, and we talk in Spanish, and then other times she would totally ignore me. She was always very friendly with the girls. She loved the girls, Jojo and Emmy. But anyway, I was coming up the driveway last week, and she was stopped me and reached across the fence and was crying. And she apologized to me and told me how sorry she was, that sometimes she's mean to me, but that she's not a bad person. And I've known that about her from the first time I met her. She's a very sweetheart, and I don't know what's going on in her personal life or mental health and the challenges of old age, but I don't know. I've always tried to be loving towards everyone, so it was good to see that kind of lovingness reciprocated back, and her apologizing, us kind of, because that's like the one sore spot in my relationship with the neighbors is this lady that lives right next to me, dude. Like, I'm staring out my guest house window right now, and I can see her backyard, and I'm always seeing her gardening, so it's like we're almost roommates, and I always should be very friendly, so it's good we're kind of closing out our relationship on a loving note. On a loving note. Went to a party over my other neighbor's house, Yanni, behind me. This house that you can see behind me on the other side. He's a Greek guy with 2 teenage kids and a wife, and he's done an incredible job with his backyard. We're so lucky where we live here in LA that we have like LA's, obviously very compact. The houses are right next to each other, but we actually have a very quiet backyard area. Yanni has like, we probably have a half acre. Yanni has probably a full acre. And so his backyard kind of connects and extends to us. And he's always out there planting, gardening and planting and growing weed and grapes. And just been a great neighbor to have. And his daughter just graduated high school and is going off to Berkeley. And she had like a graduation band party in their backyard the other night. And that was cool to see. It was super fun. I'm going to get into something about that band party, though. This was my intent. It was just like a societal observation. They had the like various teenage high school bands playing. And it was cool and fun. And then like they switched out bands and another band started playing. And there was a guy that was like, there was a guy when we first got there that was like jumping around in kind of this mosh pit situation. Seemed like very masculine, aggro dude. And something about LA is like the dudes in LA are very feminine. The dudes in LA are very soft. You don't see like masculine men, bro-ish men. Everyone is like kind of skinny and feeble looking. Not everyone. Generally, I feel like men are feeble and kind of feminine looking in LA. And I noticed that with the teenagers too. None of the teenagers look like in LA that I've observed in 5 years seem like tough or athletic or into sports. And I noticed that as soon as I walk in this band party, everyone kind of seems like the girls, this is so fucked up, sounds weird, but like the girls aren't curvy. The guys aren't muscular. Everyone kind of looks like androgynous, same kind of gender. Everyone's kind of like skinny fat. It doesn't look like any kids like super take care of their bodies. There are some fat kids. There's definitely fat kids. There definitely are not any kids that are super in shape. And then most people just seem kind of like they're skinny fat, like they're just not taking care of their bodies or exercising a lot, which is going to turn into real fat as they get older and they live more sedentary lifestyles. I don't know. I just find it very concerning. All the schools I go to in LA, there's no space. There's no green space for kids to run around. I always say, like, there's nowhere where these kids can reach maximum speed, like a full sprint. So I don't know. That's very concerning and a huge reason why I do not want to. I love LA because of the weather and there's plenty to do. But there's something wrong with the culture here and the politics. And people are becoming increasingly feminized and fuck, man, I'm just going to get into it more. So this is not what I was planning on doing, but it's a concern of mine. I don't know how conscious it is in terms of like what they're instructing these kids in the school system about like gender. I remember I went on a private school tour with JoJo's mom to a private school in Pasadena. We're touring like an elementary school hallway. And it was like a first or second grade classroom. And they like had their like art projects up on the wall about like what they're proud of and grateful for and shit. And like, I remember one of them said, like, I'm proud to be transgender. It's like first grade. What? Where are you even learning this shit? I'm not down with that shit. I'm down with sex education starting at like puberty to teaching the kids the basic biological facts of sex, reproduction and STDs and contraception and safe sex and all that shit. I'm not down with all this transgender shit and homosexuality shit. Let's just teach the kids the basic biological facts of life. We don't need to. We're indoctrinating these kids into this like transgender nonsense, man. We really are. It's like a currency of being cool, and different, and it's like praised. But you're teaching these kids at a very young age, like, if you're a boy, you can be a girl, and that's cool. And it's becoming like celebrated in a form of currency. So you're incentivizing these kids to not be themselves. And it's because the school system and people that tend to be teachers and get involved in education are super fucking liberal. And, it's like liberal white ladies a lot of times. or like I'm a master's education. I believe it's super important education. I will continue to work with children education system, but it's like it's a lot of liberal ladies and like pussy men, and so that's how they're indoctrinating the kids into this like very feminized form of existence, and gender is kind of slowly starting to fade away, and that will ultimately be the end of humanity, right? If we continue to deny the basic biological importance of man, woman, and the polarity and duality the essential nature of duality and male and female and up and down of existence, if we continue to deny that and kind of bury our heads in the sand about like basic biological difference, humanity will cease to exist. And I see that, man. I see us becoming increasingly addicted to technology, not our heads always down on the phones. So we're becoming like little alien robots. You know, like alien, like the big-headed gray alien has no body, no reproductive organs, like that standard feature of an alien or image of an alien. He's very skinny and feeble, no musculature. I think that's what we're becoming, man. We're losing our gender. We're losing our like physicality. And I think we're just like transitioning into like this like digital human hybrid. We're losing our humanity. And Rogan talks about this a lot, where it's like, is that all we are as human beings? Are we like this biological bootloader for technology? Are we like the reproductive sex organs for technology? Is that all we're here to do, is just make better and better technology, and eventually we just like merge with technology? I see that shit happening, man, but I'm not going out like that. I'm truly not going out like that. I'm going down as a human. I'm going down as a fucking man. I'm going down into fucking chicks and fighting and climbing mountains and smoking weed and talking shit and being a nice person, being kind to everyone, being friendly, looking people in the eyes, making jokes, making inappropriate jokes, coming from a place of true love and kindness and like emotion and positive emotion. Robots and technology don't have emotion, man. It's all neutrality. And I'm seeing that both in the physicality of humans and young people. It's becoming neutral, genderless, void of soul and heart. And I'm seeing that in like our personalities as well. Genderless, homogenous, sanitized, censored. And I'm not going out like that. I'm just not fucking doing it. At this band party with these kids the other night, so like one of the bands switches, and sorry, I digressed. There's like there's one masculine looking dude when I walk in this band party. He's like jumping up and down the mosh pit, like dancing around very aggressively. Kind of reminded myself as a teenager. And I'm like, oh, okay, finally, there's like one bro here. He wasn't like particularly muscular, but he's acting in like a masculine way. He had tattoos and jumping around and a shaved head, and he was big. I'm like, all right, there's one masculine dude here. The band switch out, and it turns out that dude who was dancing is in one of the bands, and he's playing the drums, and his band is jamming off, and then all of a sudden they like kind of cut in the middle of the song, and everyone gets down low, and they do this thing, and this guy gets off the drums, and he starts like freestyle rapping. He was all right, but like aggressively freestyle rapping, and you can tell he's like freestyle rapping about like things he's been to say programmed from rappers, like bitch and dick and getting my dick sucked and all this stuff. Just programmed, right? He's like kind of regurgitating what he's heard in that kind of hip hop culture. And he like gets down on one knee and he's like rapping towards like facing the lead singer of the band. And he says something in his like freestyle rap about like kissing a guy. And then he just gets up and like kisses the male lead singer of this band in front of all of his friends from school, and like everyone jumps and cheers. But y'all, I'm telling you, this dude is not gay. The way he kissed his bandmate was not like romantic expression of real sexuality. The kid seemed angry and repressed, but it was very clear that he like knew if he kissed a guy in front of all of his friends, he would get like positive affirmation, and the crowd exploded. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Flashback, like when I was in high school 20 years ago, if you had been at a band party with all your high school friends and you're like some aggro dude freestyle rapping, and then all of a sudden you stop freestyle rapping and start making out with like your male bandmate in front of all your friends, people would have been like, it would be like record scratch crickets, like what the fuck? Dude, I'm telling you, this kid's not gay. I'm telling you, this kid is confused. I'm telling you, this kid has been told by the system and the education system that he's been reared in, and it reinforced by his peer group, that like being gay is like better almost, or good, or a form of currency. I'm telling you, he like forcibly, almost like involuntarily French kiss his friend. And I'm telling you, he did not want it. Like, it was not from a form of attraction or sexual expression. It was like, you could tell he felt forced to like do this performative homosexual act because that gives him currency. So I genuinely think, I don't know, I haven't interviewed this kid. I've done an extensive investigation of his peer group. I'm just telling you, based on my 37 years of living on life and and working with children and what I'm seeing in sexual expression, and I'm telling y'all, these kids are being indoctrinated into homosexual and transgender nonsense in the school system. And they're leaving the school system deeply confused about who they are. They don't know. I think they feel guilty to be just like normal heterosexual people. I think they think if they express themselves in an abnormal queer way, that will lend them social currency. And ultimately, that's going to lead to widespread mental illness across an entire generation of humans, and it's going to lead to ultimately the disappearance of society, because these kids aren't going to be engaging in heterosexual sex and reproduce the species. I'll take that little thread and connect it to martial arts. 5 years, well, it's not even. I started training martial arts in beginning of 2023, so that was 2.5 years ago. When I walked into I'm sorry, it's just like a culture of like, don't talk about what happens on the mats or in the gym. And I'm not going to name specific names or even anything like that, but I'm just connecting this like theme, this line of thought from young people to adulthood. And maybe it's just LA, or maybe this is a global phenomenon. Oh, just real quick. There's this guy, Yuri Brezmenov, who was in the 1980s, worked for like the KGB, the Russian CIA. And he gave these series of interviews in the 80s about how like all of this is coordinated by foreign powers, by Russia and China and foreign actors, to like infiltrate our education system and infuse it with nonsense, specifically like the transgender shit, because it disrupts. There's nothing more fundamental to our very existence than sexual reproduction. If there's anything that we're supposed to accomplish here on Earth, it's to keep the species alive, right? To find a mate, impregnate the mate, or get pregnant and reproduce, right? And so all this transgender shit, you are disrupting and erasing and confusing the very underpinnings of what it means to be a human being, and thus the very underpinnings of society. And I believe it's intentional to disrupt American society. I don't think they're teaching transgender and homosexual shit to children in China and Russia. Not that I think we should be repeating what China and Russia do, but I think it's a coordinated attack, essentially, on the underpinnings of our society. The first time I walked into a martial arts gym, which I thought was like the most hardcore, masculine, hardworking type of physical expression in 2023, into like a gi class, a jiu-jitsu gi class where you have the gi and the belt and everything. I don't mean to say this to be insulting. I mean to say this to like as a form of inspiration that we need to be better. I noticed within my first week at this class that the highest level, quote unquote, highest level performers, the black belts or the higher level belts, it's a lot of fat guys basically coming to the gym to play dress up, to like pretend to be tough guys. The belt system in martial arts, it serves a purpose because it gives you discipline and a structure and a hierarchy, but it should be used as like a form of education. Higher belts teach the lower belts both skill and like how to manage their mind and everything. I've noticed it's become basically a means of like, So the structure of jiu-jitsu class is like the first half of class, you're learning technique, you're drilling. The second half of class, you're actually sparring and rolling, which in jiu-jitsu, you can do at a very intense level and like the full expression of the art because you tap. Whereas opposed to like kickboxing or Muay Thai, you can't really do the full expression of the art of a daily basis because you're going to take brain damage. In jiu-jitsu, it's hard. You're trying to choke your opponent unconscious. You're trying to break their limbs, but you can tap before that actually happens. So it's a very intense fight, but it's a beautiful thing because it can be done safely, even at a very intense level. Dude, I've noticed the belt system has become, in a lot of ways, what I noticed is like these guys achieve the higher belt, and then they use that as like a protective mechanism to not have to continue to learn or like push themselves. And so in a traditional gi jiu-jitsu class, first half of class is drilling, second half is sparring. You all line up before sparring. The black belts get to choose who their partner is. What you find is a lot of black belts just continue to choose the same partner over and over. Guys they're comfortable with, guys they're smaller with, guys that want to push themselves with. How do I say this without getting a lot of these dudes are pussies, man. A lot of these dudes are pussies. My mentality, I'm going in there, and when I open my own gym, this will be the mentality that I promote, is no rounds off. I never take a round off. No one should be taking a round off. Dude, I train from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Most of these dudes are just training from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The first half of that class is drilling. The second half of the class is really the only like fitness aspect of it because you're exerting yourself. And a lot of these dudes have been doing the same shit for 10 years. So it's really not even that much fitness because your body is extremely adapted to rolling, to sparring. I don't know. I just find it incredible that people show up to the gym and like sit down and socialize and do nothing. Like, why are you here? I'm having a major problem, and I've been having a major problem for the last few years, or last year certainly, of having partners when it's time to roll. We drill, we practice, then it's time to roll. The black belts line up. I'm a blue belt. I'm towards the back of the line. The black belts start picking their partners, and it's gotten to the point where the majority of the time, I have no one to roll with. People will tell you it's because I'm big and they don't want to get hurt. Dude, I roll with girls. I roll with white belts. I can roll at any level you want to roll. I will match your energy. If you come at me with chill energy, I'm going to give you chill energy. If you come at me with 100% energy, initially, I'm still going to give you chill energy, and I'm going to break you towards the end of the round more than likely. I'm big. I'm flexible. I have great cardio. I'm athletic. And more importantly, I have a huge heart, and I don't give up. Doesn't mean I'm going to win, but if you come at me hard, I'll lose, I'll tap, but like as soon as I'm done tapping, we're getting right back after it. No one will go longer than me or exert more effort. But at the same time, I'm not like aggro 100% with every roll. I can go as chill as you want. I can go as hard as you want. Anyway, I've been having major problems with, I go to the gym and I don't have anyone, no one will pick me. My level belts, blue belts don't want to pick me because, anyway, it's an issue, man. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. People say it's because I'm big or whatever, but no, man, it's ego, dude. Dudes don't want to lose. Dudes don't want to lose. And the whole point of being there is the only way you learn and get better is to lose. So I'm blue belt, you're a black belt. I'm already better than you. The gap between me and you is only going to get bigger, even though you're a black belt and I'm a blue belt, the more you avoid rolling with me. If you're embarrassed that I'm better than you because you're a blue belt, if you keep avoiding me, if you keep avoiding that embarrassment, I'm only going to get more and more better than you. The only way to get better is to experience the failure. And I love experiencing the failure because that's how you get better. So that's how I roll with anyone. I'll let white belts take my back. I'll let black belts take my back. I'm there to work. I'm there to get better. I do want to win, but number one, I'm there to have fun, and I'm there to get better. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. These grown-ass men who have been doing jiu-jitsu for 10, 15, 20 years. You're supposed to be like humble and like obtain this like sense of enlightenment and peace. And the most catty little bitchy, whiny, grown men, black belts. Dude, I have black belts constantly, higher level belts. I'll look them in the eyes. You want to roll, time to roll? When it's time to roll, man, the vast majority of training partners just look at me and turn their face. I would never once in my life. These dudes on a daily basis engage in a type of weakness that I would never even entertain engaging in once in my life. I've never taken one round off ever in 2.5 years. And yet I look at these dudes on a regular basis, make eye contact, you want to roll, and they turn their head. The majority of them. And they're higher level belts. The only consistent rolls I can get are white belts because I'm the blue belt, therefore I have like authority. So if I ask them to roll, they kind of have to. It's very frustrating. Guys out there, whether you're doing martial arts or anything in life, don't be afraid to lose. Don't be afraid to, like, quote unquote, be embarrassed. Don't compare yourself to other people. As Theodore Roosevelt said, the comparison is the thief of joy. Compare yourself to yourself. If someone this would be a metaphor for life, any area of life, it doesn't have to be martial arts or jiu-jitsu, but like if you're a black belt in whatever area your life is and you see a blue belt who's ostensibly supposed to be like worse than you, but they're better than you, engage that person so you can get better rather than avoiding the uncomfortableness or the embarrassing or whatever. It's fucking embarrassing, man. It's truly embarrassing. I don't like surrounding myself with fucking pussies. Sorry. I mean, I don't know. I promise I'm a nice, friendly, like goofy, funny guy, but I'm there to work hard, and I don't know. I'm getting frustrated with it, but I know I will always continue to go as hard as I can. I will never take a round off. If I don't have a training partner, I'm doing push-ups, I'm doing air squats, I'm doing pistol squats, I'm grabbing a kettlebell. So for that 5, I'm hopping on the Airdyne bike. I never take a round off. Ever. Don't take rounds off, man. Just go there and work hard. It's frustrating. Anyway, I see this happening to our society. We're becoming fucking softer, and I don't like it. And I'm not gonna do that in my own life. And eventually, I would like to start a school and a gym where I teach children and adults how to be their toughest, best selves. That doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. You be friendly. Look people in the eye, smile, ask how their day's doing. Their day's going. Like, it's about being your best self. In martial arts, you're using your partner to both elevate each other, but that requires you being effort and not being afraid. We're giving effort and not being afraid. So work hard, be kind, be nice. Don't be afraid of anything. Push yourself. Don't be afraid of failure. Be out there to have fun. That's what martial arts teaches me, and it's beautiful. But it's just really, man, it's a shame that not everyone kind of takes those lessons. Like, that's what martial arts is there for. It's a vehicle to improve yourself in all areas of life. But if you're avoiding the hard opponents in the martial arts gym and you're just maintaining your sense of comfortability, you're going to do the same thing in your life and you're going to stagnate. And all of a sudden you're going to have been isolated yourself in this bubble for the last 15 years that you're the man, you're a black belt, but that you're not. You've been isolated. You've only been challenging yourself with opponents you're comfortable with. It's not an accurate reflection of reality. Anyway, let's be tougher, y'all. What else is cracking? I gotta pee, but I think I can crank out this last little anecdote. My sister Morgan sent me a text a week or two ago. It was a clip from Jimmy Kimmel about the immigration raids Trump's doing. And I didn't even click on it, but I know Jimmy Kimmel and all that shit and ABC and Hollywood, and I know it's going to be a liberal spin. And dudes, I'm not a Trump guy, but I'm not any politician guy. I'm certainly not supportive of immigration raids. I don't believe in government of any kind. It means I certainly don't believe in borders. I think all people should be able to live wherever they want on earth. As long as you're working hard and not hurting anyone, you should be allowed to live here. I don't have any problem with someone fucking walking from El Salvador and getting a job as a landscaper and staying here for the rest of their life and starting a family. I didn't do anything to be born in the United States, right? None of us did. We just pop out of a vagina in El Salvador or fucking Namibia or the United States. And so I think everyone should be allowed to live anywhere they want. So I don't support these widespread deportations by any means. That being said, my sister sent this clip because she suggested that we bring this up. My younger sister sent the clip. She suggested my older sister share it with her children. And my response is like, let's not do that. Let's let these kids be kids. Let's let these kids be kids. Let's not indoctrinate them into our political ways of thinking. Let's not like inundate them with our uncertainties about the world and our anxieties. Let's just let them be kids, and then when they become adults, they can make up their own mind about the world. If they bring it up to us, if they bring up something political or whatever, certainly we can share our opinion of the matter. But I think we should always couch it with, hey, this is my opinion. Other people have other opinions. You're allowed to form your own opinion. And that's what I expressed in response to my sister saying this thing. And it was a clip from Jimmy Kimmel. Anyway, I'm kind of connecting the dots in here in a weird way. But then on Sunday, right, this past Sunday, I was going to the beach with my girlfriend. And she always forgets to charge her Tesla. And so on the way to the beach, we had to stop at this parking garage and charge a Tesla. And it turns out we were at like this big shopping mall outdoor area in LA, near downtown LA. So I was initially frustrated, like, oh, fuck, she forgot to charge the Tesla again. We got to charge this thing, take 2 hours. But we parked the car and started walking around this area. And it all worked out very well because, as soon as we got into this shopping area, there was this restaurant, Pizzeria Bianco, which is one of the best pizza places in all of the America. I had only one location in Phoenix when I lived in Phoenix, and now they expanded to LA. And I've been wanting to take my girlfriend there, and we just happened to. I was like, "Oh shit, we're right next to Pizzeria Bianco," unexpectedly, just because we had to charge the car, so we could get lunch there and have a delicious lunch. And sitting right in front of us at Pizzeria Bianco is fucking Jimmy Kimmel. He's sitting right there with his whole family, and a brand new baby, which I apparently was his new grandbaby. So it's just fitting. Like, I don't know. It's just fitting. It just things like that happen. You're like, oh, it feels like you're on the right track in life. And then right after that, we ran into JoJo's old friends from kindergarten and their family. This girl, Mira, and her brother, Liam, and their parents are like, oh, shit, what's up, guys? Haven't seen you since the last day of school. Another son, they're like, hey, this was an accident. We ended up in this place, but here we are. Here's Mira. Here's Jimmy Kimmel. We're having a great time. So we had delicious lunch, and then we headed out to the beach. And we took some mushrooms at the beach. Can I pause this thing? I'm about to piss my motherfucking pants. Hold on. Actually, maybe I can bring this shit over here while I piss. I'm going to try to continue telling this story as I piss into my sink. So we go to the... let's see. Can I bring the thing over here? The camera on. There we go. So I'm peeing in the sink, trying to maintain the story. So we go off to where do we go? Hermosa Beach, down near Orange County. We take some mushrooms. And as we're sitting there on the beach taking mushrooms, there's 3 couples. There's us, this couple things are going well, but we're still very much figuring each other out, and we're in our 30s. There was another couple they looked like they had just gone through puberty. Latino couple, they must have been like 15 years old, boy and a girl. And then there's another couple that is very clearly on like their first dating app date, or first date, I'm assuming dating app. So it's very interesting to see these 3 couples in this 3 stage of existence. Very young teenage couple. Newish, but like successful, established adult relationship, me and my girlfriend. Like successful. Like things are going well. We've been dating for 4 months, right? That's what I mean. And then this new couple on a first date. Dude, me and my girlfriend are constantly having like kind of philosophical issues, and we're still figuring each other out. The couple on the first date was like very clearly in like this very LA first date mode where they're kind of like advertising each other. He's talking about his condo. She's talking about her job. It was like they're both like at very first datey mode where like it's going well. They both seem into each other, but like it's also like not exactly the most like genuine loving situation right now, right? There's me and my girlfriend, and we love each other, but like also we're still very much figuring each other out. And there's like a lot of uncertainty of where we're going and a little bit of anxiety surrounding that. And then there's this young couple, 15 years old. I mean, they both must have just gone through puberty. They must have like within the last 2 years even be capable of like being in a romantic relationship, just as far as like being attracted to boys and girls. But dude, this young couple had it, man. They had love. They loved each other. The way she was looking at him, the way he was looking at her, he was like covering up with a blanket, and the way they were interacting, it was like young couples you would think would be like all smoochy, and it's like all sexual, but it wasn't, man. They loved each other. It was so fascinating to see. At one point, they're like changing. They're like, kind of circling up this like big towel. And she's like getting in the towel and changing, and he's holding it for her. And then she holds a towel around him, and he changes his clothes. I don't know, man. They just had it, man. They had so much chemistry and love. It was so beautiful to see. Like, holy shit. You don't have to like learn to love someone. It's not like a skill that you develop with time. In fact, I thought it was very obvious that the first date couple was way far away from that love. And they're both like in their mid-30s. So it's like they're 20 years older than the young couple, but they haven't found the love that these people had when they were 15. And me and my girlfriend are trying to love each other, but we still have a lot of issues. Not a lot of issues, but like we're still figuring it out. I don't know, man. It's something there in that lesson on shrooms that I saw on that beach that it's like, I think love is so much simpler than we make it out to be. I think it's like inherent in all of us. And I think actually we get farther away from it the more educated we get, quote unquote, the more jobs we get. Like all this external stuff we do to like fulfill ourselves and that we identify ourselves with, I think we're getting farther and farther away from love. Like those two little kids just knew it naturally, instinctively how to love one another. Like I looked at this 15-year-old kid, I'm like, whoa, he's a way better boyfriend than me. I don't know, man. I haven't like fully fleshed out that thought, but I just thought it was very interesting. And I work with kids and see little kids, and they're so full of love and innocence, and I think they possess so much more wisdom. They're like so much closer to the source of God because they just were born. It's like young people and old people are the most wise. And then us in the middle, like we've gotten too far away from the source of life from birth, and we're not quite close enough to the end of life that we're like all caught up in this, our minds or something. Anyway, we drove back from the beach. She's tripping pretty hard on mushrooms. I was feeling good. I drove back. I was feeling mushrooms, but nothing crazy. I do mushrooms a lot. But, dude, by the time we got back to my place, mushrooms hit. And I don't want to get into the specifics of exactly what happened once we got back into this casita on mushrooms after the beach, but I like entered another dimension. And her and I truly started exploring our love together. Not in like a physical way. We weren't fucking. Talking. Not talking. The exploration of souls. I've talked this before. There's so much more going on in this world than we are able to perceive with our current biology. And her and I, in mushrooms, like exploring our love together in this casita in a non-sexual way, dude. Our souls were communicating. Dude, I had conversations with her dead father. 100%. My girlfriend's dad is dead. And I talked to him. I know that sounds insane, but y'all, I'm telling you this is true. There's so much more going on to our reality than we know. We're like ants in an anthill that have no idea that there's a giant world in existence outside the anthill. We cannot perceive it, I'm telling y'all. Do psychedelics, do mushrooms, I promise you. You'll start learning these things. I know I will. I think I want to start a church, man. I think I want to start a church where we do mushrooms and psychedelics like on Sundays. We have a facility where people can come, explore their minds and their souls in a safe place, and then discuss those things and like reintegrate those things. And I think that might have been how all religions started. People in the forest taking psychedelics, finding God. And then I think we kind of developed like organization. We basically almost like monetized and commoditized and corporatized that like exploration of God into the form of religion. And I think like the body of Christ, like the bread and the wine, I think those were psychedelics. the body and blood of Christ, the bread and the wine, and like the priest or the pastor or whatever offering that to the congregation, giving them bread and wine. I think those were originally psychedelics, and everyone would trip the fuck out and connect with God. And I want to recreate that. Sports. Dude, I've not listened to Rogan at all since last episode. I'm still on July of 2024 in Rogan. It's about to be Terrence Howard and Eric Weinstein going a huge debate about the existence of science. Terrence Howard believes he has a whole new form of science, and I'm very interested in that. But I'm just plugging away watching MMA. I'm a month behind. I'm a year behind on Rogan. I'm a month behind on MMA. I just watched UFC 317 main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Co-main event. Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena. Merab Dvalishvili dominates, maintains his bantamweight title. I think he's the greatest bantamweight of all time. I model my own martial arts performance after Merab. He is relentless cardio, relentless heart. He's not the most skilled, but he just breaks you with his will and his pace. I love it. And he's such a nice guy. Sean O'Malley, on the other hand, is like flashy, kind of hip-hop, weed-smoking guy. He's a striker, flashy striker, and he just got dominated. Kayla Harrison, two-time Olympic judo champion, formerly in the PFL. Fought at 170 in judo, 155 in the PFLs, cutting down to 135 in the UFC. Insane. Killing herself to make this weight. She won the championship. She'll be Juliana Pena. And that sets up a match between the greatest women's fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes, and Kayla Harrison. Amanda Nunes is retired. They used to train together at American Top Team in South Florida. Now Amanda's going to come out of retirement. They're going to have a super fight. That's going to be a mega fight, dude. Seahawks minicamp. I talked a little bit about the Seahawks draft. I was following their minicamp that took place in I think May and June. I don't have a ton to say. I'm just super excited for the Seahawks, man. They're going to win a Super Bowl. Coach Mike's going to win a Super Bowl soon. I'm very excited for the roster. Seems like maybe the national media is a little down on Seahawks, but I think y'all know what the fuck is up, man. Y'all know what the fuck is up. Yeah, Darnold under center, revamped offensive line, an actual legitimate offensive coordinator there is going to run the ball. Coach Mike has his shit. He's fully familiar with how to run an NFL team. The defense is going to be sick. This could be the number we could be the number one defense in the league this year. The defense is going to be filthy, and I genuinely think with Kubiak, Gary, what's his name? Clint Kubiak as the OC, lining up in the I formation, running the ball, using a fullback. This dude Robbie Oots out of Alabama, we drafted a fullback. Dude, the Hawks are going to be fucking dirty. I think they're going to be legitimately very good. I'm plugging around. I think I'm not going to listen to any Rogan until I'm caught up on all the UFC shit. So I'm about a month behind. I'm about to watch UFC Atlanta, baby. UFC in Atlanta on June 14th. I think they're in Atlanta. So that's the next card I'm going to watch. Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. And I've got UFC 317 International Fight Week that I haven't watched yet. That's already happened. Ilia Topuria versus who the fuck did Topuria fight? Oh, Charles Oliveira, International Fight Week. And then, hasn't happened yet, the next pay-per-view is UFC 318, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway for the BMF title in New Orleans. And that is July 19th or something like that. And I want to be all caught up on UFC by that date because I'm going to be in Maine at that time. My girlfriend is actually into UFC, and she is very into Dustin Poirier, and she wants to watch that whole card. I hope I can watch it with my family. So that's I'm hoping to be caught up on UFC by then. And then fully caught up on sports by the time football season rolls around. And I'm up in Oregon in September. Be fully caught up on UFC and football and ready to go for football season. Get the Legion of Zoom fired back up for September and just be able to recap sports weekly for the last half of the year. Yeah. Anyway, y'all, that's what's going on in my life here. Be hard. Be tough. Be nice and friendly and love people. And like, man, we need to develop better relationships with our technology and with our phone. Turn off the notifications on your phone, man. The only notifications you should have on your phone are like popping up. The phone is a tool for you to use. It's not a tool that should be using you. Another thing that happened driving back from taking the shrooms, dude, is I'm driving this fucking Tesla, man, and she has a Tesla, my girlfriend. I'm driving the Tesla, and I can feel this thing is like a fucking spaceship, dude. It is connected to the universe. And it's like, I can feel when I'm on shrooms and driving a Tesla that it's like all this energy is like going into the Tesla. The Tesla is like alive. When on shrooms, it's like hard to control. It's not like driving a normal car because it's connected to everything. It's connected to the internet, which is connected to everything. You can feel that. I'm telling you, there's like a sensitivity that you can feel when you're on shrooms that you're like in like a spaceship, not a car. And of course, my girlfriend's phone is attached to the car, and so I'm driving like on shrooms, trying to focus. And I keep hearing these fucking ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Is the car like shutting down? What is happening? And her phone's connected to the car. All these text messages keep coming in. It's like, why the fuck? Who would even think that's a good idea? The designer of a car, that your phone connects to the car so that where you're driving this 3,000-pound bullet where that could kill you or anyone else, that like you need to be like addressing text messages coming in on Instagram. Like, what the fuck? I turn off all my shit. I check my phone once a day. I'm not saying this is how you do it. I'm a nanny. I don't have a career. I know what people's jobs are all tell. It's just technology. But please turn off your notifications. And like, you go and see. You address what's in your phone, not your phone addressing you and like drawing you out of your present reality. Yeah. All right, that's it. I got to clean up this house, pack this motherfucker up. Next time I talk to you, hopefully will be before Maine. It is Tuesday, July 8th. I leave Monday, July 14th. So I'm hoping to crank out another episode at the end of the week. And then another episode when I get back from Maine. Another episode. This is the first one in July. One more before Maine. That's number 2. One more when I get back after Maine. That's number 3. And then one when we get up to Oregon, number 4. So 4 in July. Trying to get 4 a month, 1 a week. I love you all. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, man. I'm just trying to be honest about what I feel. I'm not trying to be mean or like make anyone feel bad. But I don't know. I see some issues in our society, and I think we can do a lot better. And I'm always saying that because I'm trying to do those things too, right? I'm saying this out loud to keep myself accountable as well. All right. I love you all. Be good. Namaste. Talk to you soon.